I love making things. I love the creative process, whether it's refinishing, upcycling, making something from scratch. I am passionate about it. But there's one thing that I'm finding just as beneficial to the whole creative process. It's the connection that I make with people. I meet people in person and virtually through the comment section in my videos. Right, Eddie? Now, I've made friendships with people all over the world that I would have never come in contact with had it not been for God giving me the passion that I have.
And I don't think the world is full of criminals and full of murderers because it isn't. It's full of nice people just like you. And if it wasn't for my job, I wouldn't be getting to meet you like this.
Now, for today's video, I want to share some of these connections that I have with other people who have the same passion that I do. Now, 11 people sent me pictures of their projects that they've made, and I am eager to show them to you. We begin with some cool stuff made from junk by Courtney. Check it out. The first email I got was from Courtney. She says, "The video of the rotten fence wood going through the planer looks too good to be true, but that's how the old cedar looks after the top layer gets planed off. I rescued lots of old fence wood and transformed the thin slats into trivets, plant stands, and a box for fireplace tools. The cedar fence supports became an outside chair." She also says, "A great source of free wood that I use are the hardwood boards holding up pallets of lumber. The big box stores will let you freely grab these boards." She took these boards for a trip through the planer, and after some careful measuring and cutting, she made this step stool frame. She then finished it off with a couple of steps and an inlay. Now, here's the icing on the cake. Check this out. Very nice, Courtney. Thanks for sharing your projects. Now, let's look at a few projects from Tom Roberts. Here's a wine bar made from an aquarium stand and an old tin suitcase. That is clever. I just love that. Tom also made this owl wall hanging from an old saw and miscellaneous hardware. One more from Tom. This bookshelf made from old scrap wood and shutters. Very impressive. Thank you, Tom. I love your cool projects made from junk. Next up is a very nice restoration by David. David writes, "This is an antique rolling mill given to me by a friend. At the time, neither of us knew what it was. With research, I learned that it was used by jewelers to roll precious metals to a desired thickness. It was a rusty mess, missing its rotating crank handle. I took it completely apart, polished and lubricated the bare steel parts. I mounted the mill on a section of cedar board which was finished with satin varathane. I eventually found a guy who was starting in the jewelry hobby and wanted it. So this 100-year-old rolling mill has been returned to its original purpose." Now, how can a story like that not make you feel good? Thanks a lot, David. Before I get to the rest of the projects, Woodrow here has been bugging me all day about picking a name out of a hat. So everybody who made a submission, I wrote their name on a piece of paper, and Woodrow here is going to pick it out. Okay, Woodrow. See how excited he is? The winner is Courtney. Congratulations, Courtney. But don't feel bad if you didn't win, because if you want your own alley picked hat just like this, you can pick one up for a measly $20 at www.simpletoncreation.com. Now, on to the rest of our really cool projects. Here are some projects from Mike M. Mike worked with his wife and daughter on these matching restored benches and these Singer sewing machine tables. I love it that Mike's family is involved in the upcycling and restoration projects. Mike also made this puppy planter. Another hobby of his in retirement are whirly gigs. Good stuff there, Mike. Some projects can be kits, like this Munster house built by a viewer named Steve. It's a very detailed scale model, and he even outfitted it with lights and scary sounds. Next up is Matt P., who sent this picture of a drop leaf table made from a headboard found in the trash and a quilt rack, also found in the trash. Here's a great project from Christopher. He built this potting bench entirely out of pallet wood from a lawnmower dealership. Even the screws are secondhand from a flea market. The plaque is from his grandparents' garden, as well as the broken rake he used for the tool holder. Very nice. Here's a nice one from Thomas in Florida. A garden angel made from an old shutter and fence pickets. Bruce from Chesapeake, Virginia, makes these garden boxes used to collect vegetables. He uses them to rinse off the vegetables outside before bringing them into the house. They're made from pine fence pickets that he found along the curb. The wire or hardware cloth was left over from a chicken coop project. Matthew from Illinois has a couple really nice projects. First up, this bench. Since Matthew is a hockey fan, he took off the old wood and replaced the slats with hockey sticks. What a clever idea. His next project is this coffee table made from an old pallet, scrounged hardware, and some heavy-duty steel wheels. I think it came out great. Last but not least is Mindy. She bought this piece for $5 at an old farmhouse estate sale in Elizabeth, Colorado. It was love at first sight, and she knew that there was beauty underneath that old, ugly stain. This project looks amazing. Now I'd like to thank all of you for your submissions. I really appreciate it. I found them encouraging and inspiring. Maybe we could do this again next year. Like Columbo said, I do think the world is filled with a lot of nice people. Right, Woodrow? I'm Tom. This is Alley Picked, and thanks for watching.